Hi, I'm Mike Aiton from Pro Tools Expert.
I'm Dan Cooper from Pro Tools Expert, and James Ivey is here behind the camera.
Welcome to Microphonics here in leafy Twickenham. And why are we here, Dan?
Here today to do a shout out of about a dozen microphone preamps that, Mike, you've been organising over the last couple of weeks with our partner brand, KMR.
Yes, thank you very much to Paul Levine, the marketing manager at KMR Audio in Richmond. We've got a dozen or so of their very nice, sexy preamps. We've been having a lot of gear fun, unwrapping it all, looking at them. And today we're going to be recording 3 different sources. We're going to be recording Dan playing the guitar.
That's right.
We're also going to be recording James singing. Now, the reason we chose to use James is you're all very familiar with his voice from the podcast. So it's something you're all familiar with how he sounds on his preamps in his on the podcast. So we've got a known standard, someone you're familiar with. And we're also lucky to have Wayne Urquhart, who's head of sound at the History Channel, and he's coming to play the cello for us today. Now, Wayne is an ex-Guildhall cellist and has played with Moby and many rock luminaries in his time. So we thought the cello would be very interesting.
Absolutely.
As well as Dan's guitar from a point of harmonics.
Let's hope so.
And detail and different frequency content as well as a voice. So that gives you 3 different sources to be able to listen to. And some of our preamps, Dan, are a little bit different. Tell us about how we're going to approach that.
Well, we got some preamps that we're calling just straight through pre's. We also have a few preamps that have sort of characters in them. So we're going to be running a few different passes. We've been saying all day, like a vanilla run, so just literally the preamp. And if there's some parts that can add character, we're going to be doing a few passes with that as well. So we've got the Maag, what's it called, the EQ4?
Pre-Q4.
Yep. So we'll be doing a pass of that straight through, and then another pass with the air band engaged. So
the infamous air band.
Yes, so you get an idea of what that sounds like if you haven't yet had a chance to play with one.
Dan, we've also got the TubeTech RM2.
That's correct, and we've got to thank Oliver at Bigger Boat for lending this to us for the day. It's a very nice bit of gear, so we'll be looking after that and giving it a good go later.
Okay, let the fun begin.
Let the fun begin.
First mic amp up on the bench is the Focusrite ISA One. This is the in-house staple here at Microphonics. Dan, you've also got one of these in your studio. What colour's yours?
I have. Mine's blue. It's the 4-channel version. And we're just going to be running everything through this, just absolutely clean. No high pass. And what impedance we're going to run it at, Mike?
The standard ISA setting of 110. What I particularly like about this mic amp, and I've waxed lyrical about it before, is the ability to change the input impedance, which is like an effective EQ tilt that can mask sharpness in people's voices, or it can add weight and depth where it's not there. I mean, do you use this a lot on yours too, Dan?
Yeah, absolutely. Just sort of adds a little bit more character where you need it. But we're just going to run at 1 at the minute and go from there, really, with all the instruments.
Okay, so it's a very simple, nice, clean, standard mic.
Sounds great.
What's not to like? Next up is the Mbox 3. Dan, tell us all about this. This is yours.
Yep, this is my one. It's the bog standard. It's straight in. We're going to see how it sounds compared to everything else. It's the wild card of the day, in my opinion. We're just going to see how it gets on, if I'm honest. It's probably not going to stand up compared to some of the other things we're going to do. But it's a worthy contender, do you not think, Mike?
Yeah, it's good to have a baseline to compare against.
Absolutely.
Next up is the Broadhurst Gardens DAV. Dan, have you come across these before?
I haven't, no. I've almost purchased one in the past. These are made in Twickenham, UK, aren't they, Mike? Close to your studio?
Yep, the designer of this is an ex-Decca engineer, I believe, and lives locally. We'd be intrigued to go and talk to him later. I've actually tried one of these before, really liked it, and I'm also led to believe Dave Gilmore has a whole flight case full of these for his live stage performances.
That's interesting.
He uses.
Can't go wrong with that.
I believe these should stack up very well. Next up is the Maag Pre-Q4. Now, readers of Pro Tools Expert will be very familiar with the plug-in version of this, the EQ, with its famous airband. And what we're going to do is record 2 versions of this because it's a character preamp. We're going to record one version which is just ultra clean and has no EQ.
Yep.
And then next, we're going to put the airband in and see how that affects the sound and give it and record a character version. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I use the plug-in version of this all the time. I think Russ has got a few of these hardware versions as well in his studio. So, looking forward to hearing this here today.
Next up is the Cranesong Syren. Now, this is a classic tube preamp this time rather than transistor, and it's in the 500 rack as well, and it features a 12AX7 tube, which I believe is the same as in my guitar amp.
Nice.
But, what do you think, Dan?
Yeah, it's a good price, and it being 500 series, you can get a few of these in there. I'm interested to hear about how this is going to compare to some of the more affordable preamps we're using today. Because of the tube, it's the most affordable of the tube range we've got today. Is that right?
Yes.
Yep, that's what I'm interested to hear.
And there's also we're going to record two versions of this.
Another character preamp, isn't it?
Yeah, one with character, one without. And in the character one, we're going to have no negative feedback, and with that was a bit stumbly. We're going to record it with negative feedback and without. Okay, next on the bench is the Neve 88 RLB. Now, I'm quite keen on this. My background in broadcast has led me to use a lot of different Neve preamps, so interested to see how this sounds. Dan, is this the same one that's in the legendary 88 console?
I believe so.
Well, let's see if it can pack a punch in the 500 series.
Absolutely.
Next up on the bench is the Lachapell Solutions Integrity 2. A rather handsome looking piece here, resplendent in its red majesty. Now, the guys at KMR have been saying this is one to really be paying attention to. It's something they're very keen on as a product. It's built by some guys in Israel, and it's meant to be ultra clean and very, very transparent and very dynamic. So you've got 65 dBs of pristine gain in it. Dan, tell me about its frequency response.
Was between 18 hertz to 35 kilohertz. It's supposed to be really, really transparent and clean. This is sort of like the mid-range price of what we've got here today, about £1,500 to see how this dual pre sounds. So yeah, looking forward to this.
Bring it on. Next up is the infamous 1073 Neve. Now, this is the DPD version, which has digital out on it up to 192 kilohertz, and also a unique feature, which is the DSD, direct stream digital output, which goes way beyond conventional PCM technology. It's a one-bit stream. We're not going to be using that because it's not fair on the other mic pre's in this, but we'll just take the analog line out. So, Dan, presumably from the world of music, you're rather familiar with this.
I think the world of music owes a lot to this. It's been on more hit records than any of us have had hot dinners, I think. Safe to say. So, yeah, looking forward to hearing this with the guitar.
Okay, this is the Neve 8801, which is the Neve 88 series in a rack, full channel strip, rather than in a 500 series. We thought it'd be interesting, seeing as we have one here, to be able to test it to see how it sounds against the 500 series. Does being in a rack rather than the 500 series make any difference? We shall allow you to make your mind up. Next up is the Tube Tech. Now, this is in an RM2 rack. Dan, what's different about the RM2 rack compared to a standard 500 series?
Well, it's larger than 500 series. James has told me here just now that TubeTech doesn't want to use the 500 series because they don't want to build their products with compromise. So this is an uncompromised product that we're expecting to sound rather special.
Okay, this is the Avid Omni, which has two mic amps built into it. We thought it'd be interesting to try and see how good they are and how much better they are than the Mbox 3. Are they any different? Let's find out. So what you're about to see and hear are 24-bit 48 kilohertz recordings of the Brauner VMA microphone. And it's £4,500, or give or take a few here and there. So it's probably one of the best input sources that money can buy, and we're advised that it's Al Schmidt's favourite modern microphone. So we've given everything a good chance, Dan.
Yeah, it's been a long day. We've got a lot to go through. We've got some of our favourites so far, but we're going to rest on it now and come back to it tomorrow, really, with some fresh ears to make some good choices, hopefully. So, yeah, watch this space. Mike, you're going to do a little bit of editing on this tomorrow, aren't you?
Yeah, what I'm going to do, the only thing we're going to do to the files, we've tried to record everything at exactly the same level. We're just going to iron out any small micro differences there are in loudness. So everything will be a constant loudness as measured on the new Gen Visual M. And that should enable you to not pick favourites based on your ear and the Fletcher Munchausen curve, which tends to prefer things that are louder. So everything you're hearing has gone into the Avid Omni, been converted by the Avid Omni. Everything is a constant, same microphone, same converters, and all being recorded 24-bit, 48K, to the best of our abilities, given the time we had. And hopefully it enables you to be able to make some, I think, potentially some interesting conclusions.
Absolutely.
Have fun listening to it all, and let us know, please, what it is you like.
And why you like it.
Let the discussion begin. We
Absolutely.
hope you've enjoyed yourself. So thank you very much to Wayne for coming to play the cello for us. Dan, thank you very much for playing the guitar for us and for being helping.
And for James behind the camera, who's been very busy all day. Excellent.
So we've been Pro Tools Expert, and thank you very much for watching and listening.